How's it going, Frazzlers? Welcome back to Fraz Games and another Fraz Watches. Enough nicking another YouTuber's opening. Welcome back, everyone, to the Fraz Wing. I'm once again joined by Phil the Ginger and his brand new top knot.
Hello, guys. How's it all going?
Glad to have you back, Phil, as always. Fresh off the buzz of a tournament yesterday.
Indeed, it was a good day yesterday. Had a lot of fun. It was nice to have people down.
Yeah, a lot of fun of varying success, but we shan't mention that. But it was great fun. It was nice to see a few people who haven't seen for a while, which was lovely. And it was a great day all round. Even though someone might have come last due to some unfortunate face-up damages and dice.
It happens in a game, though. That's part of X-Wing, isn't it? The uncertainty of what your dice will do and what cards you're going to get.
I promised to all the listeners and watchers that the flying was great, but the dice and the cards were nasty.
I can't comment. I didn't see any of his flying, so we never actually came up against each other on the table, so
we'll have to save a official game for another time.
Yes.
Today's game was recorded. It was recorded the Wednesday before the tournament, wasn't it?
Yeah, 14th of October, this game.
And you're doing some last-minute testing of what was your tournament list.
Yeah, giving it that last flight, just dialing in those last bits that I wanted to know, wanted to practice and really get a feel for what my list could potentially do.
I think it's really good, actually. I think when you have a tournament or something like that, you want to just play a list again and again until you're almost sick of it, to drum in every single mechanic and ability that you have.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I won't be flying this list again for a long time, so I want to branch out into a few other ships that have been neglected whilst these have had all the attention.
Exactly. I feel the same. So why don't you break down your tournament list for us, Phil?
Okay, so my tournament list, this is a hyperspace legal list, as the tournament was hyperspace. I went with our Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Delta 7 Ether Sprite, with the R4 Astromech, calibrated laser targeting and heightened perception. He is backed up by Warthog in the lovely and very chunky Lat-Eye gunship, with Ghost Company and 5s. And supporting them are 3 Blue Squadron Protector V19 Torrents with no upgrades, just pure ship and pure fun.
They are good. They don't necessarily need anything. Maybe a rocket, but they are very capable on their own.
I mean, I decided to have more guns on the table than munitions, knowing that munitions are great, situational, but the guns are always there, and teaming that up with Warthog's ability was a big key factor of my decision to have 3 naked Torrents over 2 with upgrades in the end.
A reasonable decision. And your opponent today is Quinn, flying the Pitiful Rebellion, and on his team we have the Hawk, piloted by Jan Oars. She is equipped with Neon Numb and the stealth device. Also, we have Biggs in the X-Wing with the S-foils, obviously, and he's got R5D8 with him to repair some damage cards. And finally, we have the YT-2400 with the I-1 Wild Space Fringer, and he's got Chewie, Han Solo, and stealth device. Interestingly enough, Quinn, who was TOing our tournament on Sunday, found out that regardless of initiative, Gunner Han always shoots first.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I wasn't actually aware of at the time, thinking that if you're able to bump yourself to I7 with, say, heightened perception, for instance, or I think it's Kyle Katarn as well can do it as his ability, that it would go in initiative order, but no. Unlike the Blu-ray edition of Star Wars A New Hope, Han will and does always shoot first.
He breaks the rules to stick with the canon. I think that's a great rule.
Yeah, I do love the fact that when they brought that card in, I was like, yeah, that really captures that thematicness of Han. And I think there's a lot of upgrades and a lot of shits where they've really understood what they wanted them to do. You look at the Han card there, you look at Anakin on the N1 Starfighter being able to do the double barrel rolls. It's silly, it's funny, but you know what? I've done it a few times and it's good. And yeah, spinning works.
And it's nice to know that FFG have got Star Wars fans in their company. I have to say, Phil, an interesting opener that you've got there.
This was the first point of the game where I confused Quinn. He was hoping that I was just going to fly my torrents off the board in fear of his YT-2400, but when I did a stop on the lat, he was very confused.
It would have been a very short video had you decided to fly off the board.
Yeah, and to be honest, if I'm practicing a tournament list, unless I'm going in there to completely do myself over, I'm not going to deliberately fly off the board unless I've got the YV666 from the Scum faction. I can't remember off the top of me what it's called, but there is one that will fly off the board, and that's okay.
It was interesting seeing you play a few games around the last couple of weeks where you're practicing this opening, always doing the same thing, taking the torrents over to the right a little bit, keeping the lat behind, and Obi-Wan just pinging himself forward as fast as possible.
So I did adapt this opening slightly. I moved what I did for the last practice game before the tournament and indeed during the tournament. I had the lat and the turrets a little bit further over, and I actually had Obi-Wan on the outside flank. I kept with this same manoeuvre of bringing the turrets in front of the lat and the lat stopping, but I actually had Obi-Wan just ping up that side really fast. But the main reason I did it, I wanted to utilise Warthog's ability there and the lat's inbuilt ability to the best of its advantage, whilst also giving it a little bit of a shield. So I wanted to get those turrets in front of the lat. Now, with it being a medium-based ship, I can't just automatically deploy in front of the turret. I had to spend 2 turns getting them into the formation I wanted to, but luckily, doing it this early on and down in the corner, I only deviated from it once, in fact, and that was just due to the nature of what the opponent did, but I kept with the same move and it gave me time to bring them all together. And I do think it is very important that if you are very familiar with the list and you are confident in how you're going to do that opening phase, that it is okay to stick with that opening and just really work at it, nail it down. If it's not working, then adapt it, or you'll know what its strengths and weaknesses are. So if you find that against a particular ship it's going wrong, or against a particular list it's going wrong, then adapt it. But if it works, then crack on, go for it. And for me, it's working.
Don't try to fix what ain't broken.
Yeah.
Having watched this a few times, I admit I stole a few ideas from this opening for my own version, mainly taking Obi-Wan and making him fly as fast as possible in the opening turns, and as many turns as possible, simply because as his calibrated laser form, the role he plays is more of a fast interceptor with not much health. So you want to keep him moving quickly, try and keep him out of arc, because the minute you get shot, you're very unlikely to end up on top, especially from repeated shots. Your chances just get less and less.
I mean, that is one of the difficulties of not having the Daz 7B configuration on there. Obviously, it's a very expensive one, but it does give you more health. It reduces your agility and gives you a higher attack stat. But again, it's more points. With this, you can actually have more support with him. Now, obviously, you can see I've swung my torrents back into formation and the lat is now joining. So this is the formation I was going for. We're going back to Obi-Wan. Calibrated laser targeting is a much cheaper upgrade. It might not give it as much of an advantage as the Delta 7B, but overall, I actually think I prefer CLT to Delta 7B because I'm sometimes wary of pumping a lot of points into such a small ship.
That is what you need to consider. I do like Delta 7B. I've always gone for it if I can. but I understand putting too much on one thing can be problematic for you. So I do need to look into the CLT more beyond a hyperspace list.
I mean, with these Jedi Starfighters as well, they've got the ability to be very nimble. You have the ability to double reposition, so it's a lot easier, as long as you're not force-starving yourself, it's a lot easier to get yourself into a position to actually pull off the calibrated laser targeting. I think in the tournament I managed to pull it off in every single game at least once, and in, I think, one game, I think I managed to pull it off 4 times because I was able to get that position.
Yeah, same. I had great luck with the CLT in my list as well, so it is a great card. You definitely want to keep your Jedi moving fast and avoiding everything as possible, as we've said. But anyway, let's move on and talk about the Rebels for a little bit.
I mean, looking up at Quinn's list, obviously at the moment he's got a very solid idea of what he's wanting to do. He wants to keep them together. He's using Biggs as essentially additional health there for the YT-2400, and Jan is there to hopefully get some more dice for that YT-24. I mean, the fact that it's a 4 dice gun is crazy. With Jan,
very few ships have anything close to that.
I think it's that, the Ghost, I think, are the only 2 that natively have 4 dice that I can think of off the top of my head.
The Upsilon shuttle as well.
Oh, yeah, the Upsilon. Yeah.
That is it, apart from them.
Yeah, so you've got three ships which natively have 4 dice. The Ghost and the Upsilon are not very manoeuvrable. So they do struggle a little bit to keep their guns to bear. The YT-2400 is obviously quite a manoeuvrable ship, and it's got the bow-tie turret arc, so it can go left, right, front, back, which is nice. It obviously has the sensor blind spot, so it, instead of gaining an additional dice at range 1, it loses a dice.
Yeah, it's more of a nerf than a benefit. The way I look at this list is the YT-2400, he's the star of the show. Jan's there to negate his nerf, get him back up to his usual damage, even at range 1.
Yeah.
And then you've got Biggs, who hopefully might soak up a bit of damage as well and keep that alive longer. And speaking of the YT-2400, it looks like Quinn is ready to move him.
And unfortunately, Quinn kind of misanticipated how wide that large base is there when trying to do a 1 hard round to bring them up the middle. So that was a bit disappointed there for Quinn.
It's only the 3rd turn, so that's not...
Yeah. Still plenty of time to correct that.
Yeah. If you're not in a combat turn, you can make a few mistakes with your positioning. It is hard to have your spatial awareness with big ships, and also medium ships. It's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, medium ships are the ones that are a little bit trickier because it's still trying to get used to exactly. Because with a large base ship, you can look at it and go, right, if I'm doing a 3 forward with a small base ship, a 1 forward with a large base ship will bring it to the same spot. Whereas with a medium, you've got to really, really try and figure it out.
Yeah, it is difficult.
They're a base and a half.
You can see there with Warthog, the torrent's full banked in, and that is really close to the green one there. Even though it did fit, that is really well done.
Yeah, I was.
But the spatial awareness is so hard with these medium bases. I think small ships are easy; they can fit. it's easy to know if they'll fit. Big bases, you just give a wider berth as possible. But medium bases are a bit of an enigma. They're definitely half and half.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It is tricky to try and fit them, but one of the things I do like about the medium base ships is if you get a particularly nippy medium base ship, say the Fire Spray, that extra half a base or half a like movement template distance it goes, you can really throw it about. So I mean, I've seen Fire Sprays move quite nippily. I mean, I think they're probably the best medium base ship dial that we have. A lot of the other ones there a little bit stodgy, shall we say. I mean, the lat's got a reasonably good dial. It's just if it stresses itself out, that's where it struggles. It doesn't have a lot of capability to counteract its stress with only having the 1 and 2 forward to remove that stress.
Yeah, I did the thing I learnt with a lat is that if it can't action, it will really struggle and it will probably die.
Yeah,
that is the weakness with it. And I think, as it turned out to be, Panic Pilot, I would say, is the worst crit that can receive. Anything else, I think it can handle.
Yeah.
Even more so if you've got Plo on board.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a way of passing off actions to him, then that's fine. A nice thing to have on there, which I've got on my Warthog, is 5s. So after you perform an attack that missed, if the defender's initiative is equal to or greater than your initiative, place 1 evade or focus token on this card. Before you engage, you may remove 1 token from this card to gain 1 matching token. Now, you're not always going to be able to pull that off, but those times where you can, it is really handy. So in this matchup, the only one that 5s wouldn't actually activate with is the YT 2400. So against Biggs and Jan, I've got that ability to use 5s there, should I need to. And I think you almost want it to activate sometimes. Especially, again, I've comboed it up with Ghost Company. So after you perform a primary attack, if you're focused, you may perform a turret attack against a ship you have not attacked this round as a bonus attack. So if the previous round you missed your attack and you gain a focus there through 5s, you put that on the card. The next round, if you think, I might actually have 2 shots on here, you whack your focus on, and then when you engage, if you know you've got that second shot, you can pull that focus back off and be like, right, I've essentially got Perceptive Co-Pilot and a double shot here. It negates that having to worry, right, do I use my focus on the first attack? Or do I basically not re-roll it, not modify a dice so that I can try and get that second shot? And even if you do miss on the first shot, you add another focus to 5s anyway if it activates, so it is a very handy card to have.
I think 5s is great. I was frightened out of using him because a certain relative of mine decided I would like to use entirely I1 droids. He knows who he is, and he shall be listening and watching.
I mean, to be honest, for me, when I'm looking at it, 5s is 3 points. I thought, there's going to be points where it's not going to activate, but a 3-point upgrade card, if it was like 6, 7, 8 points, then I'd be a bit like, if it's not going to activate, is it going to be worth it? If you're spending that many points on a card, you kind of want it to activate once, twice, maybe 3 times in a game. But for 3 points, I mean, again, at the tournament, I did come up against that all I1 list, and obviously couldn't use 5s. But I didn't need 5s for that one. I had enough utility elsewhere that 5s wasn't required.
That's good.
But I'm just having a look now at the positionings. So Quinn's ships have had to adjust themselves after the bump of the wild space Fringer, and are now a little bit out of position. So they're going to have to do a bit of work. But obviously that wild space Fringer is looking like it's not worrying about the obstacles and going to fly through them. Now it doesn't have the ability to ignore obstacles like Dash does.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the Hawk has to work his way round that asteroid. Yet the others, they look like they're able to get around that. Biggs could definitely hard turn and then come to the left of that asteroid. But the only one who's going to have to take a couple of turns to get round it is Jan.
I think the difficulty there is with Biggs flying first. You look at that and I'm thinking, if Biggs does a hard, that will bump into Jan.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can get... Yeah, there's no way that Biggs can not bump into Jan. If he does, 1 bank wouldn't bump. I think a 2 would. And I think a 3 possibly would as well, so...
A 3 might possibly go in front of him.
Yeah, to be honest, I find banks difficult, sometimes difficult to judge when you've got other obstacles.
Although saying that, I do like how the torrents have banked in just now. Yellow doing a bank 1 left, green doing a bank 2 left and coming in very close. And also it looks like blue is coming in directly behind the green torrent. And all of them are taking the focus action. I imagine that the gunship is going to also try and do a bank 1 in and keep in the formation. Yes, indeed we do have a 1 bank from the lat.
And this is where you see how a medium base differs, because Warthog, pretty sure, is that going to be a bump?
Yeah, that's definitely a bump.
Warthog bump.
It's not too bad though, is it? At the moment, he's facing the right way.
Yeah.
But as I said, the lat is very weakened without an action. I do like Obi-Wan though. He's gone all the way up the side of the board, up and round. He's almost herding the rebels away from him.
Yeah. That 3 bank did fit.
Oh, that's really good, yeah.
That 3 bank did fit quite nicely there, so good call. So yeah, 3 bank, 1 bank would have fit. 2 bank, that would have been straight into the side of Jan.
Yeah.
That's quite nice to see.
Yeah, I assume Jan is going to do some kind of hard turn, unless it can do a smaller K turn.
I'm just having a quick look at the dial for Jan. So Jan does not have a K turn. Okay. So her turning options are the 2 hard or the 3 hard. So it's not a particularly great turning circle.
Not really, no. I imagine it would be a 3 hard then, just to get round Biggs.
Yeah. I've got a shot
bank from Obi-Wan there.
Yeah, got a shot lined up. I was anticipating a faster move from the YT-24, to be honest.
Okay.
But I still have the option to bring it around a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there we go. Barrel roll it, barrel roll out, boost in.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I do still have bullseye there, which is what I was aiming for.
It looks likely, yeah. If it were me, I'd been a bit more cowardly and not boosted, but taken a focus and hopefully had some better evade dice.
Well, still got 2 force there, so that's not too bad. And sometimes, I mean, against a ship like that, you got to choose violence. So, in this, obviously, Han is going to shoot first. I think there may have been a few times where, unfortunately, when we didn't know that, we heightened perception over Han, which, as we know now, is not right.
No, Han shoots first. But yeah, hopefully your dice will come out on top and Obi-Wan won't become Explodey-Wan too quickly.
Well, that is the last thing we want, so...
It is. So first up to fire is Han.
And that's 2 hits and a focus.
Not spending.
Saving it.
And that's 2 evades. There you go.
So exactly what I was hoping for there. And my hand, unfortunately, is in the way. But we'll see if I place the focus down. Yep, CLT is on. So range 2
looks
with
like you've just
calibrated.
Got the corner.
Yeah, range 2 with calibrated. That is not nice.
No.
Debating with...
You're not spending it.
Yeah. Deciding
I
against
think that's
spending
good. At the early stage of the game, you want to keep as much force as possible.
Yeah. I mean, at this point as well, the Wild Space Fringer has 3 evades. I had 1 hit. If I'd have had 2 hits and a focus, I think I would have spent that force to get 3. But when it's 1 hit versus 3 evades, there's no point trying to spend that. It just force starves Obi-Wan. And as with any force users, if you start using all their force too early without the ability of getting it back quickly, it hurts them a lot. You suddenly see them pop really quickly.
Yeah. It's exactly the right thing to do. This is only the 4th or 5th turn.
Yeah.
And you don't want to starve Obi-Wan, especially in only the first round of combat. That wouldn't be smart.
No. But right now, I've got a good position to get in behind that YT-2400. I've got good positioning up ahead of it. Just need to wait to see what Biggs and Jan do to come back in. But right now, I'd say I'm in a position which I'm fairly happy with. I maybe would have liked to be a bit further behind, towards the back quarter of the YT-24. But yeah, at the moment, fairly confident with that positioning.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough because. So, like the YT-2400 can't turn around very well. Does it have a K-turn?
It does have a K-turn. In fact, I would say the YT-24 has a pretty darn good dial. So if it does get stressed, it doesn't have a lot to take away from it. It's got the 1 and 2 forwards blue and the 1 banks of blue, but it's got the 1, 2, 3 hard, 2, 3 bank and 3, 4 straight, which are all white, and it does have a 4K turn, so it has the ability to turn around quite quickly if needed.
That's not bad. 4K is good on a big ship as well.
It's not quite the 5K, but it's still something that is quite nice.
No, it's not Darth Maul
Or a Sarge Ventress.
Oh yeah. Obi-Wan's looking pretty safe now at the moment because the YT 2400 has his turret arcs in the right and left. I think Obi-Wan's going to be pretty safe as long as you keep him moving quickly. Even you want bank 3 in or 5 straight and boost in. I think either is great.
The difficulty is trying to think where the Wild Space Fringer was going to end up. I can't, off the top of my head, can't remember what actual move I did. But yeah, ideally a 3 bank forward would be lovely, because it'd be a 3 bank forward, probably just a focus would be amazing. And
you'd have your bullseye most likely.
Yep. So it looks like I did the 1 bank, thinking that it was going to come in a bit harder. But
that's a safe call, I think. I imagine you thought a bit slower than a 4.
Yeah. So in the end, I forced for a barrel roll and then took the focus to line that CLT up.
A force, but you're still in effectively the same position you would be, which is quite good.
Yeah.
I think the only added benefit you'd have is that Biggs. I don't imagine Biggs has you in arc.
No, it looks like Biggs would be out of arc.
Jan is rotating.
Yeah, so there's the rotate.
The only hope there would be that you're out of range. But even if you're not actually, you would be range 3 and you'd have that asteroid in the way. So that looks pretty good.
Yeah. So what we've got there is Jan is using her inbuilt ability. So while a friendly ship in your firing arc performs a primary attack, if you are not stressed, you may gain 1 stress token. If you do, that ship may roll 1 additional attack die. So boosting that YT 2400's already incredible attack capabilities up to 5 dice.
Yeah, at range 2, that is going to hurt.
And that was hit with 3 focuses, so that's... in fact, I think that might be 4 hits and a crit.
That is 5 hits.
Yeah. And
versus
that is
eye and a blank. Spend for 1.
Yeah, spend to save 1 off.
He's not dead. And a fuel leak.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it doesn't make much difference, does it?
He's not dead, but he is very much hurting, so...
Yeah. He's not yet dead because he can dance and sing, but not for very long.
Indeed. Well, we've got basically a free shot here, CLT.
Yeah.
Spending that focus, 2 hits. And 2 evades. Lovely. Exactly what I like to not see. Painful. Yes. Then Jan, range 3 through the asteroid, so 5 evade dice there.
Very good. That always made my opponents uncomfortable when Obi-Wan was rolling 5.
Yeah. Lots of
but you
evades
do
there.
Worry, don't you, that you're going to have a major blank out?
Oh yeah, I mean, I fly Soon TFL regularly, which means I regularly whiff with Soon TFL.
He is,
which is always very painful.
Yeah, I think he's known for whiffing. You just expect the more greens you've got, you're going to have blank, blank, and some more blank.
Yeah, and it's normally right after you've just chosen violence to get a really good hit on, and then they take you out.
That is exactly what happens. Right, and we're down to the torrents, I think.
Yep, so that is 1 damage, which I believe Biggs took.
He died. He definitely did. Keeping that YT 2400 at full health still.
Yeah.
Letting red Biggs soak it all up.
Spending a charge there for fire convergence.
Very good. I do love fire convergence with the LAT. It's just another way of getting those rerolls and saving your target locks.
Was that more damage on Biggs there?
Yeah, that's 2 hits versus not very much. So Biggs is taking 1, and the YT 2400 has finally lost a shield.
So that'd be its stealth device down as well then.
Yeah, that's gonna another dice, a green dice gone in fact.
That's
And 1
2 more.
dodge, and so that's 1 dodge and another shield gone.
So a lot of damage there.
Oh, in fact, no,
Sorry.
that's wrong. It's 2 hits, no evades, 1 shield gone on the YT 2400, and Biggs is now onto damage cards. Finally, Biggs gets to contribute to the attack.
Yeah.
Hit crit, I think. Versus I, and no focus.
And that's green gone.
That is a dead torrent. That's 1 down. How much were those points wise?
So they're only 26 points, so it's not too bad. Currently, I am 1 point ahead because I have half on Biggs. So half on Biggs is 27, a torrent is 26. So at the moment, I'm winning. Yay!
It's looking good so far, yeah.
I mean, ideally, I wouldn't have liked to have lost a torrent that quickly. I mean, that was a very good shot from the Wild Space Fringer. The plus side is that because he stayed, he would have been able to shoot anyway because of Warthog's ability, but because he actually stayed as well, it meant that he had to use another shot to take him out. So it denied him the ability to target something else. I mean, it would have been nice if he'd have missed, so that he'd then had to spend another shot on him, but all in all, not terrible. Managed to knock off the stealth device on the YT-24 and get Biggs down to half. So at that point, it's not too bad.
It's definitely looking good for you. You've got 2 rebel ships that have suffered damage, and only 1, and you've got a dead torrent, but everything else remains at full health.
Yeah.
Which I think is very good. So YT is coming round and focusing still.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely an interesting tactic to keep your turret in the left and right.
Well, I think at this point he knows that he's going to have the majority of the ships in that area.
Yeah.
And I believe that fit. It did fit.
It definitely did.
That has got to be one of the closest non-bumps you will ever see.
Definitely.
And then this, unfortunately, is a bump. So that's a bit of a shame.
When you're that close,
Yeah.
I think I could live with that personally.
This is also a bump. So, although at this stage, Warthog's not getting an action, he does have a focus on 5s at the moment, but they are all in the range 1 bubble.
Yes.
So that is negating that impressive 4 dice shot. Biggs is doing the Rebel 1 forward to victory.
It is a weird one. Whenever you're in range 1 of a ship, you want to panic. The 2400 is the only one that is weaker at range 1.
Yeah.
Which means, unusually, your guys are at the advantage. Although Biggs is close, he's definitely got a range 1 on that torrent.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan's right there to absolutely obliterate him before he's going to get a chance, I imagine. You've still got CLT as well, I think.
Yeah, so knowing that Biggs was coming up, I decided to go a little bit slower to always give a bit of room to avoid the bump with Biggs for a start. and it gives me that option. Now, if I go for Biggs, I've got a 4-dice shot. Well, a 3-dice shot plus a focus on Biggs, and I have a focus token. So
Yeah. The scariest bumps on your team, I think, are Obi-Wan and
the
Warhog.
lat, yeah.
But the fact you've got 5s there to give him something is going to help massively.
Yeah.
There's a target lock there from Jan.
Yep. So almost way to go. I know who their target is. So here is where I've made a slight mistake. So here is where I've used heightened perception to shoot before.
Yes, I see. So, in fact, even though if you did heighten perception, Han would shoot first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's 2 more damage on Biggs there.
It is.
Now, it's a bit crazy because it means also that there I'm wasting the Force. Because Obi-Wan...
Is that 2 or 1? I can only see 1 more card there.
You might be right, it might just be... No, yeah, so obviously I've just wasted a Force point there trying to shoot before Han. And if I'd have known that, that's a Force I could have saved.
It is, yeah.
And in fact, that's a Force that, if he did have a shot on me, I would be able to use the Force. So if I'd needed to, I could have spent the focus and used that Force to regain that focus instead.
Yeah. Which would have been much better.
Yeah.
That regaining the Force is Obi-Wan's ability. If he spends a Force, himself or anyone else at range 2 that is friendly can regain their focus token.
But here what we've got is Jan stressing herself to give the YT2400 his 4th shot again. And
Yes.
that was on the lat. And that's 2 shields
Ouch.
and a crit.
And it's Panic Pilot.
So dual
The
stress.
least favorite, I think, for the lap. No actions means no lap, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a really good use of Jan and the YT because it's nerfed at range 1. Jan has taken it back up to its normal damage output, which I think is great. And now this is Jan's shot. Ooh.
So,
I assume you dodged that successfully.
yeah, it looked like dodges there. No shields, no cards taken, so we can safely assume there's a dodge. They use 5 now that Warhog's engaging to get that focus. And
Ooh,
here is the tough one.
Do we spend? No, we don't.
Yeah, no spend there so that I could get that second shot on Biggs. Again, if I'd realised, I could have used Obi-Wan there. Obi-Wan could have supported that. And then spend that focus there.
Yes. Yeah, you could have spent that focus and then had Obi-Wan regain it for you.
And there's that 3rd damage card. Maybe I was using foresight to see it early.
I think so.
So
That means
range
Biggs
1
is
for
on
the turrets.
1 remaining, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That means Biggs has got 1 left.
So that's 2 onto the YT24, but he dodged them. Another range 1. This is the... And
Oh no, that's going through.
That's 2 more shields.
No more shields. Wild Space Fringer.
Yeah. So, all in all, so far, that's not too bad. Do you have the range 1 now from Biggs?
Yeah. And I believe he's going to target that nearest torrent as well.
Mm-hmm. It's silly not to, really.
I think so. Maybe the lap, though, with the panic pilot, there's now nothing to aid that. But yeah, I think the torrent is a good shout. And 2 blanks. He is definitely taking cards.
So let's hit, crit,
And
crits.
ouch.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, the one weakness with these torrents is because they're not shielded. Any crit, that's a card.
Yeah. And that also then hands Quinn the lead. He's now up to 39 points as he's halved the torrent there.
The power changes hands oh so quickly.
So with the dial of the YT2400 as well, he can really control what's now going to happen. He can, where he goes first, he has clear space to do whatever he wants. He could do a 1 forward, which means that, again, it's going to be a conga line of bumping. So
Tactical bumping would be great, yeah.
yeah, I mean, he could tactically bump me, but because he can do that 1 forward, he can then turn his arc if he wanted and go, all right, well, you guys are going to bump into me, but I'm going to then go for Obi. Or
Which
he
would
might
not be good.
Yeah, or he might just pile in on the lap, knowing that it's now in his 7 hull.
I would. That is it's a great ship, but like most things, if you converge all your fire upon it, gone. It's only one evade as well. The only thing I would struggle to place would be Biggs again. If the YT did a 1 forward, it'd be beautiful. Jan could then turn in ever so gently and have plenty of space. But where those torrents and lap are going to go, I believe they move first.
Yes, so I have initiative, so it'll be the YT2400, the torrents and lap, then it's Biggs, then it's Obi-Wan, then it's Jan. So for me, I just do a 1 forward with Biggs.
Yeah, I think that's good.
If you've done a 1 forward with the YT2400, you pretty much know that everything is going to bump there. So a 1 forward, you're not going to bump anything, and you'll still get a shot. And in fact, that shot will probably be quite a favourable one on the lap.
I think so. And also, the lap only has a 1 and 2 straight blue. So to get rid of that panic pilot stress isn't going to be particularly easy. And there we go.
There's the 1 forward.
1 forward.
So
And the rotate, yeah.
1 forward rotate. Yeah, exactly. A brilliant move. Now, unless I've done a 1 hard, which nope, I've done a 2 hard. So there's a bump. With the first one.
That kind of makes sense, though. It's a bit of a strange one if you wanted to 1 hard, because you would stress your torrent out.
But I would still get shots, which is the main thing.
That is true. That's true.
I mean, here I'm not going to get shot by the YT2400, but that now leaves him free to shoot the lap. Or even Obi-Wan. Which...
And he's doing a 1 straight, as we thought.
Yep.
No actions either, though, as he's still got 1 stress remaining.
But at the moment, depending on what Jan does, still got Jan in arcs, so...
You do.
Jan will be doing a forward manoeuvre.
Ooh.
Oh, so we
Biggs did a 1 bang, yeah. That's what I feared would happen with Biggs. I didn't think if they were going to move forward, though, there was not enough room for Biggs to turn in at all.
Yeah.
It even looks like a bit of a pile-up still. Obi-Wan's coming in. He can't fit as well.
So that's a bump, but that still does line up a CLT shot there. Just no focus to use on it.
No, but you have force. You have 2 force still.
And there's Jan doing a 3 forward, which is blue, which is perfect. Exactly what Jan wants to get rid of that stress and now has it available.
Can now trigger again, which is
Yeah.
completely ideal, especially if you've still got range 1s on the lat. Normally a 3 dice at range 1 is Jan can now take that up to 4 again, which is great.
You know what? I wouldn't even bother with the lat right now. I would go, I've got 5 shots at range 2 at Obi-Wan. He has no tokens. He's got his force, but I've got 5 shots. That's where I would be going.
That's look juicy.
Oh, but no,
He has decided for the lat.
He has gone for the lat. That's a hit on the lat. So that's two more hull on the lat. Personally, I think I would have gone. I think I would have gone for Obi-Wan myself. Obi-Wan's got CLT, spending a force.
That's 3 hits. That's great.
So
And nothing there. Another shield gone. And
hit.
2 cards. Could have given it to Biggs, I suppose, but that would just wipe him out.
Yeah. So plus side, that's half points there on the Wild Space Fringer, but it is also half points on the lat. So
yes,
still got Biggs to shoot.
That's 2 evades. Yep, 2 evades. So the lat has missed, and that is a focus for 5s. And this is...
So this looks like it's the blue torrent because he didn't actually bump. He bumped into the other torrent.
Yeah. That's right. So he's still got a shot on the Fringer, whereas the other one does not.
Yeah.
And
so
now...
Biggs now range 1.
So that must be the...
Ionization.
That must be the ionized one, yeah. Disable powered regulator. I imagine Biggs is going for that nearest torrent. Yes, 3 dice at range 1. Re-rolling with... I don't know what he's re-rolling that with.
That was actually Jan shooting. So that's that torrent down.
Oh, it was a Jan shot.
Might have been a missed time there. We might have missed Jan. Jan might have shot later than she should have.
That would make sense.
Because Jan's supposed to shoot at I5, so she should have shot after Obi, so I think we missed that. Ooh, hit crit there. And that is hit, crit. So yeah, now blue is also hurting.
Yes, he is. And that is the last shot. The YT-2400 engaged at I1, which was unusual.
No, it did engage at I3. It went before I7. It went in before everyone else and shot at the lat. So currently,
So who was that last attack? Was that Biggs?
that was Biggs. So we
Biggs.
misactivated Jan. We missed her shot. So there was a bit of a mistake there, but
Yeah.
all in all, it's still in Quinn's favour now. He's up 83 to 74. If my maths is correct.
Everything's now hurting, so it's got potential to go either way.
Well, in fact, the only things that aren't hurting are Jan and Obi-Wan at the moment. So the I5s are the only ones who've got health. Who are healthy and
I wonder if
happy.
it'll come down to them, in fact. I have a feeling it's going to come down to those two.
If it comes down to a straight fight between Obi-Wan and Jan, I would definitely favour Obi-Wan in that, although Jan does have the ability to rotate, and with Obi-Wan going first, Jan has that information of where Obi-Wan will be. So that's where it becomes difficult for Obi-Wan, because Jan can focus and rotate. She won't need to worry about stressing herself because she's got Nien Nunb to give her a lot more blue maneuvers.
Yes. The only thing that Jan might struggle with is because the Hawk cannot K-turn. To turn around, it will take a couple of turns. Whereas if Obi-Wan flies past and K-turns, he's going to be ready to go much faster. But again, I'd always favour a Jedi or in fact any Force user.
Again, I still think though that rotate arc is something that you have to take into account. It's something that makes it a lot tougher for any interceptor to worry about.
Yeah.
So cleared the last stress, and so that's a rotate link to focus because of Ghost Company, re-stressing. Very dangerous position for the lad to be in. And unfortunately, I did not anticipate that harder manoeuvre there from the Wild Space Fringer. I assumed it was going to be another one forward for victory.
I think that's a fair assumption. But
so trying to see if I can
the
get
only
out
other
of the
option is, the only other option for the Wild Space Fringer was to fly away and get out of the firefight. Maybe have a bit of a defensive turn. Ooh.
On the plus side,
Biggs
makes it, and out of Biggs' arc there, so that's fine.
Yeah.
The only problem is, I kind of always wish I actually had arc on someone, because right now I'm not in a particularly favourable position, although Obi-Wan is now in a
Obi-Wan's great.
Obi-Wan's got a nice position there. Closest to closest,
great.
Not through the gas cloud. Got the CLT arc.
Yeah.
And
the CLT might be through the gas cloud, however.
That doesn't matter. Because it's close. Because it's closest. Although maybe
not anymore. Definitely not anymore. But you may just have sacrificed CLT. It's potential you might just have a little bit of corner though.
Depends if I've decided to go on Biggs.
Biggs is 100% in your bullseye arc.
Oh yeah,
Wild Space Fringer might just have a little bit of corner.
Yeah.
Jan is also in arc, but nowhere near the bullseye. So you've got lots of options with Obi.
Yeah, I think looking back on it, I think I should have stayed where he was and just focused, because I have the one hard, which would have cleared that gas cloud.
Yes.
So looking back on it, I think that was a error on my part. I might have put myself into the arc of the YT2400. So let's see how many dice.
Yeah, I think it's a close one, but like you might have him in the corner, he might have you in the corner as well, I think. Now that his turret is facing front and back. So Jan is once again stressing out to trigger and give the Wild Space Fringer an extra attack.
So it's a range 1 with that additional dice there.
Range 1 into Torrent. 2 hits, 1 eye. It has got a focus as well.
Yeah, but I think he's debating whether to save that for fence.
How much health does that Torrent have now? He's got 3 to go.
He's got 3 hull left.
If it was me, I'd spend it.
Yeah,
and
spending
Quinn
it.
has, yeah.
going for violence. And only taking
phase.
one. Nice.
Yeah,
Happy with
guaranteeing
that.
one hit, but that is a good result, yeah.
Yeah. So CRT shot. How many dice do I pick up? Am I going to try and take out bigs? Yes, go for bigs.
Go hard or go home.
Spend the focus getting 2.
That is... 1 goes through, which means of dead bigs.
Huzzah! Bigs went the way of a new hope.
That is spoilers alert for New Hope if you haven't seen it.
I mean, if you haven't seen it at this point, you're about 40 odd years too late.
Yeah, 40 years and 5 other good films and some others we won't talk about.
One downside there is it does mean that I won't have a I don't think I'd have a Ghost Company trigger. But that's Jan. So that is Jan deleting the Blue Torrent, but because of Warhog, he ain't going nowhere, Jan. He's going to shoot you back. So just checking now.
This was a great ability. This is a great ability, I think, to keep your ship in even after it's dead, to do one more shot before it explodes.
Oh, it looks like I did actually have arc on the YT2400, so I can use Ghost Company for a double tap.
Yeah, I think you've just got a corner there, which is perfect.
Yeah, so that's a crit there.
Oh dear. And the second shot onto Jan.
With all the focuses.
That is a lot of focuses.
2 hits.
That's a whole lot of nothing.
Oh,
one more.
One more dice that you forgot.
I think that's
about.
range 3. That's range 3, that's why.
Also, stealth device, so missed stealth device there.
Oh, of course he did, yeah.
But stealth device is gone now. And got a range 1 from blue, shot from the grave.
Yep.
Fire convergence, because the defender is away up. 3 hits.
3 hits. 2 dodges, I think, so 1 goes through.
Final shield down on Jan.
Yeah.
And we've got a Chewbacca trigger there.
Preparing a card. That's really good. I'm struggling to see where the lat's going to go this turn.
Most people would say off the board at this point.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it can turn left.
The options are 2 left or 2 hard. That's the only options now.
I wouldn't even. I'd go right. I think that's your only hope. I think you're going to have to avoid combat for a little bit, because I'm looking at that and thinking a hard 2, even a hard 2 is too close to the edge. You might even make it though, but then the next turn, I don't think there's any way around it.
Oh no, I mean, if you do it too hard and as long as you're not like straight on to the edge, you're fine. So no. You'd have to be at a very awkward angle for a hard maneuver to not get you back onto the board. So your template can go off the board as long as your base, as long as 100% of your base remains on the board or on the playmat, then you're fine. And
I see.
Fortune favours the brave. But if it was a large base ship, that's gone. A large base ship would be gone at that point.
It's risky, I think. You could do a hard 2 in, but I think it'd be far more safer. It's certainly what I would do, is I'd just admit you got to go around the right there, take it slow. And also, it's stressed as well. Hasn't been able to get rid of the last stress from the panic pilot yet. So perhaps...
It did. It actually deliberately stressed itself to do the rotate and focus, and
of course it did. That's why it's stressed.
2 left. Moment of truth.
Willow.
It's still on.
Way too risky. That is touching the edge. That couldn't be closer if you tried.
Yep, and that, my friends, is how you do that.
That is the definition of taking risks.
And that is now perfect, because that angle, 100%, too hard keeps it on the board.
Yeah.
I'd have to move the damage cards out of the way just so I can definitely get it back down properly, but that does it. Now, this is unfortunate. Landing on the no strain, so that's good, but no action.
No action, but you can reposition if you want to with the fine-tuned controls, which could benefit you.
So it did, and
it did, yeah. That
it
is a
fits
successful
as
boost.
well.
That's very nicely done.
That is 100% guaranteeing that I'm going to get calibrated laser targeting.
Yeah, can't argue with that. I would have looked to see if there was a way of getting out the arc of the 2400 with my barrel rolls and boost, but yeah, I don't think it was possible.
Yeah, I don't think there was a way to get out of the arc and have a shot.
No.
I mean,
so
yeah,
it's definitely the best options you had.
I mean, there is the potential, if I roll well and he does not, I could delete him.
You could. The 2400 has got 4 left, and you will be putting 4 dice in there with the CLT.
Are you sure he's got 4? I've got him counted. There's 3 damage cards down there.
And it's got 10 in total, so
4 shields, 6 hull.
4
That's
shields, 6.
a very scary roll there.
So it's actually got 3 in total.
And
so
calibrated laser targeting is not going to do anything because I've had to spend my last focus, and I got hit, crit.
Oh dear.
So shield and 2 crits.
That is what's worrying about Obi-Wan. He's not got the hit points to last very long if he gets hit.
Yeah, so he's now 4 starved, which means
4 starved, 1 health.
Yeah, and as I said, 2 hits there. Oh no, 1 hit. 1 hit there, it would appear. Not great. So really nicely lined up shot, and then you've got Jan coming in as well. So
seems that gas cloud's really wiped out Kenobi.
Yeah.
Fortunate. That is fortunate.
2 blanks for the target lock. And there is the evade. So Obi-Wan
still there.
Lives. Unfortunately, the lat is just out.
I think it's lucky it's still on the table, so I don't think I'd complain about that one. But now, Obi-Wan is in a worrying situation. He's almost destroyed, and both of the ships are still on the table.
Well, everything is hurting at the moment.
Yes.
I mean, I would say that my ships are probably hurting a bit more. I mean, at the moment, Quinn's got a total of 6 hull left, and I also have a total of 6 hull left. But points-wise, Quinn is well on top. So 36.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at 78 points for just the torrents. Then you're adding 60 on top of that for half points on Warthog and Obi. So you're looking at 138 points compared to I'm currently sitting on. That's 101, 127. So yeah,
127. What's going to need to happen, to swing it, you'll need to take out that big guy. Large base ships are always going to be massive points. If you can get rid of it, that's going to swing things back in your direction, Phil. And if you're extremely lucky, you can, with that hard 2, you can get the gunship back and firing onto the Hawk.
At this point, I'm resigned to the fact that the Lat is out of the game for a little bit, because it's going to take him a lot to get back up. He's going to have too hard round, which means he's not going to have a shot, because everything's going to move beyond that. And I would have to keep going and stressing myself, or keeping myself in a stress position just to catch up. So I know that I can't rely on the Lat for a little bit.
Yeah, but keeping it on the table is much better than anything else. The fact it's still there is nail biting.
Yeah, I mean, that would have handed Quinn another 31 points, and I would say effectively put the game out of reach for me.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I would have to take the Fringer out.
Yeah. I think it's really, really soul destroying if you fly a ship off the board accidentally. I've only ever done it once, and I was so confident that I think it was Seventh Sister. I was so confident she was going to make a 4K, and she went right off the board. It was soul destroying. Right, so it's a hard 2 from both of those. Wild Space Fringer is hard 2. Lat is obviously hard 2.
Wild Space Fringer hard 3, I believe.
Hard 3, okay.
Because that's a big move it's done there. But yeah, hard 2 for the Lat.
And a bank 1 from Kenobi.
Yeah. It was the not knowing if he was going to go slow or hard.
Nice little arc dodge there, though.
Yeah. Decided to save that force.
As well.
Yeah, I decided to save the force.
I can see why you want to do that. I wouldn't have blamed you had you decided for both. But I can understand wanting to keep the force. Jan, what's she going to do action-wise? She's not stressed.
No, because she's got near numb. Her bank manoeuvres become blue, so she was able to de-stress herself. And
really good.
There's no reason for her to stress herself. So target lock on Obi-Wan. Yeah, perfect.
Really good. That's a really good decision. Nothing from the 2400. So straight onto Kenobi.
So I need a really good roll here. A hot roll would be great. And a hot roll is not what I got. Hit crit.
So you're still forced down again. And that's still just the 1.
Just the 1.
I mean, that's chipping away, but I think you really wanted that kill there.
Yeah, but it was a direct hit.
Oh, great. That's a little bit more.
So I'll take that.
And nothing there. So re-rolling. Still nothing.
Re-rolling.
Lucky.
Re-rolling into the same. Oh, it's nothing worse.
That sucks. And I think you were very lucky with that one. You just needed one thing to stick. And Warthog is still out, so I think we're back to moving again.
Yeah, I mean, Warthog's left to right, so even if he was in range, he would not have been in arc.
No, definitely not. He still may not come in too fast. I mean, he can now do his de-stressful straights, but that's not particularly fast.
No, I mean,
slowing down still.
Like, looking back at this, if I didn't do a 3 forward, I'd be surprised at myself.
Okay.
But I could also imagine doing a 2 forward to de-stress and then do the 3 forward or the 3 bank next turn. But I'm pretty sure I probably did a 3 forward here, get myself up. My gun, yes, won't be on target, but unless I did a 2 forward and rotated.
I think 2 to 3 is your best bet.
So, big move there from the YT24, wanting to try and get that range back up, doing the focus.
Yeah. Either that or he's been possessed by the spirit of Brave Sir Robin.
Right, yeah, so 2 forward.
Yeah. I would have done the same, but a 3 would have been great. But 2 is just that much safer to guarantee your actions. You can definitely rotate, and you could re-stress yourself. There's the rotate.
Yeah, just the rotate. I think it's more, if I get a shot, I get a shot. If I don't, then I didn't want to have put myself into a position where I've messed myself over.
Yes. Now this is crucial. I know you're going to boost, but you just need to be sure that the one straight will fit. And it does.
Yeah. This is whether I did that as a force boost and then take the focus.
It looks... Yes, you are spending the
force boost and then focus. Because it's very tough to tell whether I've got CLT on. It's a very close call.
I would say so. I think you've just got a corner again.
Yeah.
And a corner is all you need.
There's a 4 straight from Jan. She just wanted to try and keep arc on target, really.
I think so. And also she's still keeping the lat at bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have just got a corner. That is just a corner.
That hits plastic. Oh, I think we rolled on it because it was that close, and I think we decided against it. By the look of it.
Fair enough. I've not done that before, but I have looked at some rules on this, and the base does count when measuring things. The plastic base as opposed to the ship base.
So that is the YT24 off the board. Big points there. Big points.
He has ceased to be. He has expired and gone to meet his maker.
The only problem is, you've now got range 3 shot on Obi-Wan.
That looks like
1 hit
to me. Ooh.
And that...
Oh dear.
It's a direct hit, and that's the straw that broke the camel's back.
That is.
And that's Obi-Wan down, and that's where the points swing back.
For one moment you had him. So there we have it.
I think that was it.
Yeah, that is the end of the game. So let's count up some points.
148 to 167 in Quinn's favour. Good win for Quinn there. It was a good... I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed playing that game. It was interesting, challenging at points, but Quinn's quite known for having interesting lists that do things that you're not quite going to expect, but he does like to bring in synergy. A lot of his lists will synergize with each other really well, so he used Biggs as always the full guide.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and goodbye.
2400 live. And then he had Jan there supporting the YT24, giving him that extra attack. And then in the end, Jan was the one that put in the final punch.
It was. I think that's great as well for a rebel list. The whole point of the rebels, they plan on working together much more than anything else. So that's the synergy that Quinn likes really worked into his favour.
Yeah.
And throughout that game, it swung one way and the other way. It was definitely, and it once again, it came down to the final shot. Had Obi-Wan got one evade, you would have had that in the bag. But that one hit changed everything as it usually does.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing with interceptors is that once they start taking damage, it hurts them. But again, I thoroughly enjoyed that game. It was a nice practice before the tournament, and it didn't make me suddenly go, "Oh, I need to completely change what I'm doing." I was happy with what I had planned, stuck with it for the tournament. So
yeah,
just
you knew it was a solid list.
Yeah, I was confident with that list.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us again. I've had a great time, actually.
Yeah, it was really nice actually watching one of my own games back and being able to have a chat with it. So, yeah, it was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game to watch. Thank you, Phil, for joining me again.
No worries, anytime.
I'm sure we'll do this again. In fact, I'm sure we'll do it lots, I hope.
More than likely.
So, yeah, check out Phil's channel on the Out of Art Gaming. There'll be lots of games, I'm sure. We've both got tournament games to edit and put together, so there'll be lots of things coming soon. You guys make sure you subscribe and like and leave comments and everything else, and make sure you play lots of X-Wing and keep COVID safe as well. Wear masks in your gaming stores.